Welcome to the Spielberg Kid, a show about all things Steven Spielberg, from those who grew up on his films and were swept away into the worlds we only dreamt of. We fell in love with Steven Spielberg films as kids, and it stayed with us well into adulthood. On this show, Spielberg Kids, talk about the movies, the TV shows, the toys, the collectibles, the actors, the experiences, and most importantly, the nostalgia that all sprung from the world of Steven Spielberg. He is one of the most influential people in the history of cinema. He is arguably Hollywood's best known director. We can argue about that. And one of the most successful filmmakers of all time. He has an extraordinary number of commercially successful and critically acclaimed credits to his name. That's no small feat. As a director, producer, and writer, since launching the first summer blockbuster with Jaws in 1975, he has done more to define popular myth making and popular culture making since the mid 1970s than anyone else. And what better time to kick off this summer of Spielberg and beyond than with his newest film, Disclosure Day, which we're going to be talking about today. Everybody, thank you for joining us here on the Spielberg Kids. I'm going to actually introduce myself and then pitch it over to Luke Cheeseman. This is his baby. He came and he was like, we've got to do a Spielberg podcast. And so, Cheeseman, this is yours. My name is Jim Fry. You probably have seen me on the Con Guy Show or the Scare Guy Show, or maybe even the Tiki Freaks. But this summer, it's all about Spielberg. So, Cheeseman, take it away.
Hey, everybody. It's Cheeseman here. You know me from the Con Guy podcast. So I've been to a lot of conventions like you all have, collecting our fandoms, going to panels, doing all these kind of things. And what I found as a common ground thing for me is that a lot of the nostalgia for me have been Steven Spielberg fans. So as a Spielberg fan, and through actually even frustration with collectibles of like, why do these things sell out so quickly and they're sold like 4 times the price? I'm like, people still out there care about these films we all grew up on. So I was like, why don't we add another branch to the Con Guy layer and universe to do another show with specific to Steven Spielberg stuff. So excited to kind of launch this and see where it goes, see if we can get cast people, see what collectibles we can talk about. And we have a lot of anniversary years coming up. So excited to get this going and see what you all think and how you can be part of it.
And we could not be more excited than to have Mr. Jake Thomas himself on the show with us. Jake, please give us a little introduction.
Hi, I'm Jake Thomas. You've probably seen me bumming around every great taco stand and sushi stop in East LA.
Yeah, that's awesome.
To give you a very succinct idea of my love for this topic, I was the kid who took his entire Jurassic Park compound playset, set it up, and then his dad's VHS video camera, and made my own motion tracking ride where you'd go and rescue the action figures and then get attacked by my toy Tyrannosaurus Rex. I would go downstairs and say to my parents, hey, do you want to come upstairs and ride my Jurassic Park ride? And it was me behind the chair shaking them while they were watching on TV for like 5 minutes. And it was better than the one at Universal.
Do they still exist?
What, the Jurassic Park toys?
Well, that and your videos.
Oh, no,
did you do any videos of it?
They're long gone.
Long gone, okay.
Oh, no, these are long lost relics of the 90s. Yeah.
Those VHS tapes, they just don't hold up like they used to.
No, they don't.
And just as a little introduction, we will be releasing the Spielberg Kids podcast sporadically throughout the summer, and if they're successful throughout the year, I mean, we're going to be talking more. We all fell in love with Spielberg as kids. We have shows and we have movies that we saw as kids. My very first Spielberg film, my first 2 Spielberg films were terrifying when I was, and I think I've told this, we did a series. We did a series on his first blockbuster, Jaws, which was my first film. By the way, I'm older than the 2 guys that are joining me today. So I actually saw Jaws in the movie theater. It was a drive-in movie theater. So it had returned to theaters. My family and I went to see the return of Star Wars. We saw an advertisement for Jaws on the Robin Theater, the drive-in theater. And so Dad's like, we ought to go see that. And I guess Jaws had been out for like 4 or 5 years, something like that. So Mom and Dad, me and my brother Scott went to see Jaws on the big screen at a drive-in theater. And I always like to tell, me and my brother Scott were in the front seat when Quint was being bitten in half. Mom and Dad were in the back seat making out. And me and my brother I was probably 10 years old, maybe 8, something like that, screaming, I hate this, make it stop. And my dad threw pillows up into the front seat for me, and Scott said, put these over your head, you'll be fine. My dad and my mom loved that movie. My dad loved the movie. I don't know, mom liked it so much.
I think your dad liked your mom is what you're saying.
Yeah.
But
Because got a little backseat vacay, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
9 months later, my third brother showed up.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, 9 months later, my brother Steve showed up.
Putting a motor in the back of the Orca, if you will.
Oh, but anyways, and then my next movie after that, my next Spielberg film was Poltergeist in 1982, which I did see in theaters. And my buddy Patrick, he got a laser disc like that next summer. You know, you guys probably don't know what a laser disc is.
I do, yeah.
It's before VCRs. They had these, and we watched Poltergeist about 55 times that summer, and it was fantastic. Anyways,
it was like the only way to see a movie widescreen at your home before they did it. You know, that was very rare on VHS, and then became way more widespread once DVD came out.
Those were like as big as a record too, right? Like a vinyl.
Same size, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, Luke, I got to ask you, because Luke is the one who came to us and said, we got to do a Spielberg Kids podcast. We have to do a Spielberg Kids podcast. Why did we have to do Spielberg Kids podcast? What is so significant for you about Spielberg?
Well, like many of us, my favorite films are, like Jaws, Back to the Future, E.T., Jurassic Park, and all that, which all have the common theme of Spielberg to it. Like when I was young, my parents used to let me and my sister watch Back to the Future. Of course, they'd have conversations with us after, like, you don't call people butthead. You don't call them yellow. You don't do all this other stuff that they're doing. So it always
penis breath.
Oh, never call them yellow.
A little bit of discretion with it, but like we used to do it on what they called like a luxury night, where they'd let us basically like stay up late, which might have been like 11, but it felt like 3 a.m. to a kid, where we'd watch.
Like, I was 10 o'clock in bed.
Yeah. Well, not on luxury nights for us.
Luxury nights.
Yeah. And then I remember my first experience was watching Jaws on a tiny TV. I think it was like behind my parents' couch for some reason. Like we had our TV in a weird place, and I got too scared
behind the couch.
So a lot of times I would like turn my head or not watch it. But then I became so obsessed with it, even without watching all the shark stuff, that I had to I was making my own books in school, which I got away with a lot of things probably I shouldn't have back in the day, of like sharks coming after people or whatever as a 4th grader. And I also just like continued in adulthood, Jaws being my favorite and appreciating it as a filmmaker, but also like E.T. like has great memories of my first time seeing that, or Jurassic Park, going to the theater 3 times to see that. And of course, as I mentioned, the Back to the Future trilogy, and then going to the Universal parks and doing the Back to the Future ride and doing the Jaws ride, just in the E.T., which is still luckily there. Please don't go away.
I know.
Please bring some of these classic ones back. I know people are calling for it, but it's just had a big impact on the nostalgia of my life, and then me wanting to become a filmmaker. So,
I mean, let's be honest. At one point, they could have called either Universal Studios Hollywood or Orlando theme park Steven Spielberg land, when you think about it.
Basically, they could, and and they even now sell vintage cups, clothing, all that stuff to kind of remember that time in Universal history, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Steven Spielberg still gets a percentage from Universal Hollywood and Universal Orlando.
He should.
He does.
He deserves it. Like, seriously.
It's the park that Steven built, basically.
Kind of.
Like Disney is the park that Walt built. Universal's the park that Steven built.
I won't go into too much detail, but if you see archival footage of what the tour was before his movies, kind of sucked.
Now, we are going to jump in just a minute here into Disclosure Day. Because that is the latest Steven Spielberg film. It's the largest opening for an original Steven Spielberg film in history. I mean, we're not taking into account of inflation and all that, but we are going to kind of mention a couple of the anniversary films that we will be kind of celebrating. But Jake, real quick, what about you? Did you tell us why Steven Spielberg's films have had an impact on you?
I was trying to remember actually the first one I saw, and I'll be honest, I think the earliest one, it wasn't directed by Spielberg, but he would have been like had his name on it, and it was probably The Land Before Time.
Yeah.
So the Don Bluth American Tail movies, which had those were Steven Spielberg things. So you forget about there's also like the produced by and executive produced by, like you mentioned, Back to the Future and stuff. But he, like, as much as Disney, anything with his name on it can grab you at a really early age and pretty much capture your imagination on until adulthood, because there's always something at a stage where you're like, wow, that's fantastic. But, like I would dress up as Indiana Jones to catch weekly episodes of the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. I loved it. And every single episode, I was like, why is there not more action in this? And that's when I learned that TV was all talking and movies were action.
TV's about talking to each other.
We had, VHS movies. We had, I had the children's, the kids, the young kids adaptation of books of his movies as well too. And, the junior novelization, that's the name I was trying to think of like, the Indiana Jones movies and Jurassic Park and all those. So here's the bigger thing. Like, as much as I watched his movies when I was growing up, both for him and Lucas, I would watch the behind the scenes of making their movies, probably equally, if not more so. So like, that was kind of like learning. Literally, my dad would tape us behind the scenes of Raiders of the Lost Ark, and that's how me and my brother learned how to throw fake punches for the camera.
Nice.
And so then we are in our backyard making our own adventure stories, and we're safely in a fist fight where no one's getting hurt because we learned from Terry Leonard and Scott, whatever the other guy whose name was, like two of the stunt people, how to throw a punch safely and correctly. So that was. Or like do stop motion like they did in Temple of Doom or anything. Yeah. So.
And I've recently seen that there's a box set. It's around like $200 though. That's like a Blu-ray collection, but then there's all the special features and stuff that come along with that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, let me real quick. We are going to jump into a couple of the anniversaries, but first, because Luke said something earlier that is important to point out. Steven Spielberg. He not only wrote a lot of movies, he directed. He has 35 movies that Esquire magazine just recently released as his, from 35 to 1, the 35 best Steven Spielberg films. Oh, it's 36. I am mistaken. But also producing, like the movies that he was involved with producing, like he was in charge of bringing to the screen. It's monumental, the list of films. I mean, Goonies, for crying out loud, the Gremlins films, and the Band of Brothers on HBO was a Steven Spielberg. The list.
ER on TV.
What was that?
ER, which ran for 15 years.
Oh, yeah, it was ER. I forgot that was an Steven Spielberg thing.
Yeah.
But here, let's do this real quick, and then we'll jump into the anniversaries. Esquire magazine, in the month of June 2026, came out with a list of all 36 Steven Spielberg movies. I guess he's got 36 ranked from worst to best. We're not going to go through the whole list. But in honor of Disclosure Day, we will start with Disclosure Day and go up and just to tell you what we think. So Disclosure Day, on the list of 36 best films, right now, it is earning spot number 22, which is,
for being new,
not so bad. Okay, so let me go through this real quick. 22 is Disclosure Day. 21, AI, Artificial Intelligence, which was a good film. Number 20, The Terminal, a movie I must admit I have not yet seen, but I really want to. Number 19 is West Side Story. Okay. Number 18, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, one of my favorite movies of all time. I hate that it's this far down on the list. And feel free to stop me and insert any comments as we go through. Number 17, The Post. Okay. These aren't the most influential of films, I guess. Esquire's is. Plus, you got to take, everybody's got a perspective. Everybody's got an opinion. Number 16, Bridge of Spies. 15, Munich. Pretty intense. 14, a film that doesn't get a lot of love, but maybe we will talk about eventually. Duel from 1971, starring Dennis Weaver
And
anyways.
a truck.
Yeah, and a truck.
And a
Number
big
13.
truck.
13 was Minority Report, which was a pretty good film. I think that was the first time I'd ever seen Colin
Farrell.
Yeah, in a film.
Colin Farrell. Yeah.
Number 12, Lincoln. A very slow movie, very deliberate movie. But
a great one to mention because we're taping this on June 19th. So it's very appropriate to talk about.
Oh, wait, yeah, we're filming. Yeah, happy June 19th.
Yeah.
And Lincoln as number 12. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for bringing that up.
That's right.
Also, number 11, The Color Purple. That's kind of cool. Okay, top 10. Number 10. I would argue with this one, but I like this one, but I don't think it's in the top 10. The Fabelmans. Did you see The Fabelmans, Jake?
I have seen The Fabelmans. I enjoyed it. I would not put it in the top 10 either as a movie. It was more just kind of a fun.
Yeah.
Like my favorite parts of that are just seeing him learn his tricks for how to make things.
Yep.
The movie making tricks. That's my favorite.
Yeah, part. I enjoyed that part. That was well done there. All right, number 9, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It's up there. I love that film. Some people say that that's their favorite of all the indie movies.
Junior.
Number 8. This one's kind of cool because this one, people don't think of it as a Spielberg film, but it's one of his better films, I would argue. Catch Me If You Can. What do you?
I love it.
I remember seeing it in the theater the first time. That's right.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so like rewatchable too. There's just something about it, and the performances by Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio. It's definitely one of my favorites of DiCaprio.
Yep.
That would be, I think, in the top 5 easily of a John Williams score for a Steven Spielberg film. If just for the opening jazz score alone during the opening credits.
Oh,
we love the opening credits.
We cannot understate that Spielberg and John Williams have been joined at the hip throughout their careers, and both of them have made the other one.
Yes.
I'm just going to say, it's just one doesn't exist. It's like, it's kind of like Harry Potter and Voldemort. They don't exist without the other, except for neither one's evil. Neither one's evil.
And one day they're going to kill each other.
All right. Number 7, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, perhaps the top movie that you think of when you think of Steven Spielberg in his early years, his Peter Pan syndrome, the movie that made us all fall in love with Steven Spielberg, and Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore is just so cute in that movie. Yeah. Number 6 is Saving Private Ryan. Is this the movie he got the Academy Award for?
For directing?
No,
he got an Academy Award for directing Schindler's List, and he got it for directing Saving Private Ryan, even though it did not win Picture.
Great film.
Yeah, this is Spielberg. He took a tilt towards a very good, very important tilt into some really important films when he got past the early 80s. And I tell you what, Saving Private Ryan is one of the best. That first 30 minutes, one of the most intense battle scenes ever put on film. Number 5, Schindler's List, which to this day, the red jacket from the little girl is just one of the most haunting images in movie history. All right, number 4.
Don't make out during it, or Jerry Seinfeld's parents might get upset with you.
We shouldn't laugh.
Or don't let Newman see you.
All right, number 4 is arguably my favorite Spielberg film, I think. We'll see. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And I started watching it again last night. I watched about half of it, and it's interesting. We are going to talk about this one a little bit later. We'll talk about it a little bit today in reference to Disclosure Day. But I love Close Encounters. Number 3, what do you think it is, Luke?
Raiders of the Lost Ark?
No, Jaws.
Oh, come on. Don't put that on me. I wouldn't rate it that way.
I think Jaws, if Jaws is perhaps it's not just a great blockbuster, it's a great film. It's a very deep and layered. And number two, Big O Dinosaurs, Jurassic Park.
You know what one is now.
So we know what number 1 is, Jake.
Oh, it's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Or it's been renamed.
No, it hasn't. No,
not in our
called
head.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. So those are the top 22 films from Disclosure Day on up. And Cheeseman has put together a list. Hey, Luke, do you have the list in front of you?
I do.
Tell us, just real quick, some of the films that are celebrating anniversary years, some of Spielberg's films.
So I will go from youngest to oldest. So as far as directed films, we'll be celebrating the 10th anniversary of the BFG. Some of us probably read that book growing up in school, so we're looking to maybe do some rewatches of some of these and talk about them. So it's the 10th anniversary. We have the 15th anniversary of the Adventures of Tintin, which is based on a comic series, so which fits perfectly with Comic-Con comics and all that. So,
well, and it showed up at Comic-Con. That was
it there that year?
Was that Peter Jackson and Steven Spielberg together?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, Peter Jackson. There were supposed to be more movies, and Jackson was supposed to direct a later installment.
But that one bombed so bad they decided not to go forward.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a collab.
If maybe they were there later, you never know.
They were there at Comic-Con in 2009 promoting it. And they were promoting that film. And right after that film was the very first Twilight movie was showing up. And so none of us could get in to see Peter Jackson and Steven Spielberg because a billion screaming girls wanted to go in and see Twilight. So, all right. That's why the film failed.
Yeah. And then we got the 25th anniversary of AI, artificial intelligence. Did they really have to spell it out? Because back then people were like, what's AI?
Back then, yes, they would have had to.
That is crazy. That's crazy to think. So
how timely. How
timely to revisit that. So we're hoping to revisit some of these and maybe do some shows on them. We may combine ones, but we'll just kind of see how it goes. This one I'm very excited about. The 35th anniversary of Hook. I collected the figures of this, and
I had those
Rufio.
Too. Yeah.
Rufio. So good. Robin Williams was just amazing. So 35 years. I can't wait to revisit that. I even have an original poster from that too that I've collected over the years. Then we got the 55th anniversary of Duel, which I will admit I've never seen officially. I know.
Have you seen it?
Duel? No. Yeah. I have a running list of the Spielberg movies I have not seen that I need to get to in my lifetime. But
so we'll have to have a movie night and watch Duel, because there are some parallels, I think, with Jaws and things he took from the filmmaking process. Even a sound effect from the end of the movie was used in Jaws as well.
Yeah, the crashing truck and the sinking shark. It's the same sound.
Yep. Wait, spoiler right there.
All right, Luke, what about some of the movies that he produced that are celebrating anniversaries?
All right. Some of the ones he has produced is, and I didn't realize, I knew it was influenced by Spielberg, but it's the 50th anniversary of Super 8, which was done by J.J. Abrams.
No, it's not the 50th anniversary.
Oh, did I? I had a brain fart there. 15th.
Yeah.
15th,
sorry,
yes.
I'm like reading backwards or something.
Sorry.
Thank you for catching that. 25th anniversary of Jurassic Park 3. He produced that one.
Written by one of my favorite filmmakers, or ghost written, Alexander Payne.
Yes. 30th anniversary of Twister.
The guy who did Sideways.
Formerly at Universal Studios.
Wait, what's that?
There. Twister,
the 30th anniversary. The Twister attraction at Universal Studios was pretty great. I loved it.
And then
remember the flying cow.
And this was interesting looking back at the dates and everything. So these actually were exactly like 5 years apart, which is The American Tale, which is celebrating its 40th anniversary, and then Five Goes West, which is celebrating its 35th. So those both are having anniversary years. And for a while there at Universal Studios Orlando, I think they had a little Five Goes West area, but I'm sure that's long gone by now. And then there are a couple TV things that are having some anniversaries as well. So I admittedly maybe saw a little bit during my childhood, but I can't quite remember. But there was a Back to the Future animated series that's actually celebrating its 35th anniversary this year.
I watched that, and I also had the Happy Meal toys.
Nice.
So there was a DeLorean with a cartoon version of Doc Brown hanging out the side window, and if you basically revved up the back wheels, they had sparks that would go in the back.
Oh, nice.
It looked really cool. And then like Marty McFly on a hoverboard that could roll. And then at the end of every episode, Christopher Lloyd would actually show up in real life, and he would do like a Bill Nye style science experiment and teach you how to operate a digital clock from battery juice or like lemon juice or something like that.
And I think that's on a lot of the box sets for the trilogy now. So I think so. I'll
right.
have to look again, but I feel like I've seen that they're on there. So
that was back when they made a cartoon of everything.
Did your McDonald's toys survive, or are they like some of these other? No, sorry.
None of my McDonald's toys survived. Not Back to the Future, not Batman Returns. None of those survived.
Yeah. Well, at the conventions, they often have these things as collectibles or eBay or online. So it's never been a better time to collect because there's so many resources for those things. And then one more is the 25th anniversary of Band of Brothers. I saw some early on episodes, and it was interesting because it was the first time I saw a grown-up Joseph Mazzello. I actually didn't recognize him at first, but later realized he's Tim from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Spielberg cast him in that. So
he's in the Pacific, which is like...
Oh, is it the Pacific?
Also Spielberg, but Band of Brothers literally has everybody else.
Yeah. Which one is David Schwimmer part of?
Band of Brothers. He's the drill sergeant in the first episode.
Yeah. Was Tom Hanks involved with Band of Brothers?
He was one of the, I think, EPs on it as well.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
That was basically after they did Saving Private Ryan. They were like, we got to make more World War II stories, and we got to do this book. So,
and Band of Brothers, it was on HBO, and it's perhaps one of the most talked about, most influential back then they called it mini series, but it's a limited series.
Yeah,
perhaps of all time.
Yeah.
I do. It's one of my brother Scott. I remember him talking about it for years, and for Christmas, all he wanted was the full complete set of Band of Brothers because it just made such an impact on them. I've not seen it. It's a movie. I got kind of, I don't know, like worn down by battle movies for a bit of time, and so I didn't want to go see a whole series, but it's one I do want to go revisit.
Like we just had come out of September 11th. I feel like either my friend was sorry, I'm like mixing up dates and all that, but it was right around September 11th, right?
It was around that time. It was early 2000s, so basically
25 years. Yeah, so
I think that was kind of part of the reason we're like, oh well, war stuff. Like I don't know mentally if I could.
Yeah,
but
the 25th anniversary of this September is the 25th anniversary of 9/11.
And back then too, like streaming wasn't a thing, so like now we have a lot more opportunities to watch these shows and watch them in order. So these kind of series there's no better time to kind of check these out so you can just watch straight through.
So we are going to have so much fun talking about all this Spielberg influence in our lives, but right now we are going to jump into Disclosure Day. And let me give you a little bit of let me set the runway here. Disclosure Day is a 2026 science fiction thriller directed, of course, by Mr. Steven Spielberg, his first time back to the alien genre in quite some time. It stars Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, and Colin Firth, and it's about a conspiracy to hide evidence of extraterrestrial life from the public. It's written by his longtime collaborator, David Koepp. Is it Koepp or Cope? Do you know how to say that?
I've heard Koepp. I think I've heard him say Koepp.
David Koepp. Written by David Koepp, the film follows a TV meteorologist, the beautiful Emily Blunt, and a cybersecurity whistleblower as they uncover secrets, exploring themes of truth, faith, and the impact of alien contact on a world already on the brink of conflict. And right now, Mr. Jake has told us, he still has the butter fresh on his fingers because he came straight from the movie theater.
Straight home from the theater after seeing.
All right, Jake, we would love to give us your take if you don't mind.
All right. Well, first I'll give you the take of the movie, and then I'll give you the take of the movie theater.
Okay.
Because so the movie is 2.5 hours. So go to the bathroom beforehand. I love
that you got Emily Blunt with you.
That's
great that she joined us today.
Here's the report. We're coming live from the studio. I in my mind, as I was watching, and I was like, this is like if Minority Report and Close Encounters of the Third Kind got together and had a little alien baby. Because it's very much driven by conspiracy theory, fugitive on the run, chase sequences, near escapes, and then also futuristic technology that's being used to track down both Josh O'Connor and Emily Blunt's character. So it has that very conspiratorial tone.
Hey, Jake, I don't mean to interrupt, but
yes.
I just want to let folks know, if you have not yet seen the movie, we're going to spoil some stuff. All right.
That was my next. I was like, how much can I talk about? Because
This is the spoiler review. It's been out for a week. We can spoil it. All right.
Great. All right. Yeah. For posterity too, so that people can come back to it and they can disagree with everything we say. And then also you have like that wonder and awe of Close Encounters. At least the characters present a lot of wonder and awe, and there's like the last bit of it. There's an extended sequence that is very much in tune with Steven Spielberg movies, which is all about going back home.
Yeah.
Because there is a character who basically gets to step back into an environment that completely resembles her home, so she can recall an event that she'd been blocking for many years. It's her.
There she is.
There she is. And kind of speaking of Emily Blunt's character, there were moments like Minority Report where she is kind of walking up to people and understanding things about them almost exactly the same way as Samantha Morton's precog from Minority Report. She knows things that she couldn't possibly know from downloading things. There is some, like, it works in a lot of questions about the universe, both with like aliens questioning, would they be divine beings or creating beings? How would humanity kind of understand their nature, both in the universe and also then their relationship with the divine? And the big climax is very much in tune with kind of how it's almost like not only a spiritual sequel to Close Encounters, it's also a spiritual sequel to The Post, which was all about the government hiding something and the press having to basically reveal the truth to the public, because they said, like, people have the right to know what the truth is. And I thought that was kind of an interesting thing. It's just like, and also both involve Nixon in a way, because Nixon has a cameo. Not, it's an actor playing him, but Nixon has a cameo in the in stock footage that they're in security.
The king president of conspiracy.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah.
If it's a conspiracy theory movie, you got to have Nixon in there in some way.
Always.
Always, yeah. But I also appreciate in that same security footage how he's like walking along. He's like, who's Nixon talking to? And he's like a TV actor from the 50s. He wanted to impress him. And they don't say it by name, but this guy's very obviously emulating Jackie Gleason from The Honeymooners. So I'm like, oh, that's funny. So I think I enjoyed it. And as far as ranking it with Spielberg movies, I would put it in the middle there. I think it's more fair to like compare it to his Alien movies specifically. And I would say it's right in the middle of his Alien movies, because I enjoyed it more than something like War of the Worlds.
You enjoyed it more than World of the Worlds?
I did. War of the Worlds I saw once, and I didn't really stick with me all that much. I think maybe because I don't think like that was Spielberg's dark period in his life.
It was dark aliens.
Because Minority Report was one of his dark movies. War of the Worlds was these were the post 9/11 movies he was making. So it just doesn't feel like something that maybe resonated with him as much. But honestly, some of the visual cues from like War of the Worlds with like people driving and talking and the camera whipping around the car, that was in this movie all the time. So the visual cues, like this movie has Spielberg's camera stamp all over it. A lot of wonderful moving composition shots. A shot that you forget has been going for like 2 to 3 minutes without breaking, as people are like going through the movies, like through the television studios and talking, where he'll do these things where it's like it's a big, long, complicated shot, but since it's not like a Scorsese single shot or anything like that, or a Euphoria single shot, you forget that he's being able to stage all this stuff without cutting.
And he's a master of that. Like recently on like social media, I saw a post about Hook. There's that scene when they first come in the house after Hook had raided it.
Yes.
And go down to like close-ups of something, pull out, then pull focus. It's
because you're looking at them arrive, and then you see Robin Williams' face look up, and then the rack camera focuses right to the broken window.
Yep.
And you can do all that in one. So like I'm a big fan of his filmmaking techniques. If you ever want a really good afternoon, just like put a movie on of his and then turn off the sound and just pay more attention to what he's doing with the camera, and you'll realize this is way fancier than I realized. He doesn't get enough credit for that.
Yep.
But yeah, I would put it in the middle of his Alien movies. Obviously, E.T. and Close Encounters like the gold standard. It's a lot better than Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which I was.
You're considered okay. So that's one of his Alien movies.
There's aliens in it. I know.
I
they're interdimensional beings, but they look exactly like the aliens in this movie. Spoilers. So, or the aliens and whatever. But I got worried during the climax when some of the footage is airing and they show spoilers Area 51. I was like, oh, please, Harrison Ford, don't show up. Please don't show up as Indiana Jones investigating the Roswell crash. And he didn't. And I'm glad.
But I was during the scene where they were showing all the footage of like 20 different alien pieces of footage, some of which was actual real footage, by the way, which has been released by the U.S. government, which is interesting. But I was so hoping he was going to show a clip, and he almost did. It seemed like he showed another version of Close Encounters, like
Devil's Mountain.
Devil's Mountain, or just even because in the movie Close Encounters, they have a million different cameras that are taping as beings come out of the spaceship. So I was hoping for that. But anyways, Luke, what do you think?
For me, yeah, it was kind of the okay-ish good kind of comparison based on kind of the Spielberg things. Like Jake said, there's a lot of the filmmaking techniques. It's weird to adjust to the digital HD version of what cinematography has come to, because there's that kind of more fuzzy cinematic look. So it's interesting to try to adjust because we're just so used to the old school style of using film and everything. But there's plenty of the lens flare there, which is the Steven Spielberg thing that even J.J. Abrams had kind of taken up. And I would say Emily Blunt, for sure, she just kind of stole the show. She was so engaging, because even with just facial expressions or different things she was doing as an actress, I found her character a lot more inspiring. I wish we would have got a little more of her. I mean, the other guy, he was all right, but
Josh O'Connor. Don't say he was all right. Luke's done nothing but complain about Josh O'Connor since he's left the movie a week ago.
I think he's a great actor, but the way it was portrayed was a little bit just not as. It's hard to go you see Emily Blunt and you're super interested, and there was a very evenly keeled kind of a approach to kind of the acting on that, which I don't know if that was in the writing.
I would assume that's directing. As a character, he's kind of in the same mindset and has the same things because he knows everything already. He's on a goal trying to achieve this thing. She gets to be the one who gets to have more discovery and have more change, both in how people perceive her.
Right.
So
he was the straight man kind of aspect to kind of because it became more of a buddy kind of moment, not a buddy comedy or
two-hander.
Film like that. Yeah. Once they kind of came together, then that kind of balance was there. And I was definitely more invested and interested when they kind of came together like that. And they even showed some of the backstory of what connected them. Alien abduction. Spoiler.
Yeah, can we just talk about that for a second?
Sure.
Let's just talk. I liked it more than the group of people I was with. I'm going to say that. But I did leave the theater disappointed.
I have questions. I'll also say it's a movie where it's a wait a minute movie where when you're having a dream, everything's makes sense. And then after you wake up or after you leave the movie theater, you're like, wait a minute. And you start to have some plot hole questions about so.
Let's hear your wait a minute moments. What are they?
I don't know. So it seems like Coleman Domingo, who we can all agree has now accepted the torch that Morgan Freeman has passed on to him.
Oh, I love Morgan Freeman.
He is the new Morgan Freeman.
There was an element of that now that I think about it.
And Morgan Freeman, of course,
dictation of how we talk.
Succeeded James Earl Jones. This is the yeah.
Because when they're in a movie, they're the epitome of the goodness and the good naturedness of mankind.
And half the time on screen, he's a voice as well too, because it's him on the phone. But
he's great too. I liked his performance. Yeah.
So I don't want to ramble too much, but they're doing something actively within the city of Kansas City, Missouri. And it seems like they didn't really realize they were, I'm confused as to when, because he's building a set in Kansas City, but it seems like they don't know about Emily Blunt until her broadcast where she starts doing the alien language / Seinfeld theme song. And then they're like, this is what we've been waiting for. But it's like, but you're already building her house in her hometown. So what's going on? And then also, remember when like Bad Henchman #1 grabbed the thing and vanished for 2 seconds and then came back? Where'd he go? What happened?
Good point.
I have no idea what happened. and they didn't care to tell me. I thought he was dead.
Did we find out what was was it a human created weapon or an alien created weapon that
it was on the rings when they were kids in the alien spacecraft? Young Emily Blunt, young they had some rings come down and they're like spinning around them and almost seemed like a child's mobile in that way, but seemed like pieces of something that had alien intelligence and power. So I kind of imagine it was more like a handheld version of the monolith from 2001 that could do stuff.
Yeah.
Again, it's stuff you fill in the blanks when you leave the theater where you're like, it was this. Sure.
I'll do my real quick take on it. I was perhaps overly enthusiastic about the movie. It was my most anticipated movie of the summer. And we have some good movies coming out this summer. Nolan's Odyssey is coming out. Is it next in a couple of weeks, which is going to be something to behold. But I really was looking for this movie because I thought it was an unannounced sequel to Close Encounters. And so
you're trying to hype it up, Jim.
Okay. Anyways, and it wasn't, even though it kind of was. It was like you call it the spiritual follow-up to Close Encounters, because towards the end, the aliens were the same aliens, for crying out loud. The grays.
There could be Easter eggs all throughout.
We had the tall alien that was pulled out in the wheelchair at the end. Oh, no. And then we had the short ones that we saw in the footage. So just make the leap, Steven Spielberg, and just connect it. Like, how great would it have been if at the end they wheeled out Richard Dreyfuss as an old man and they had recovered him and he could stand up and say some controversial statements. Anyway,
Happy Pride Month.
I know this would have been a great time for that. We're bumping up against the end of our show here. So Cheeseman and Jake, let's wrap up on Disclosure Day. I said it wrong. You just said LGBT.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month, right, everybody. Disclosure Day. Let's kind of wrap it up and where it fits in the legacy of Steven Spielberg. Luke, you go first, and then Jake.
I definitely want to rewatch it because there's always the expectation going in, and of course there's so many cinematic moments, great acting performances. So I know we've mentioned some things, and did we quite talk about that scene where they were kind of somewhat invisible by that, the thing they did
by the remote?
Yeah,
Emily Blunt made everybody invisible. I personally think the best scene in the movie.
Yeah, that was a really cool scene. Again, great acting performances, and again, not my favorite Spielberg movie, but definitely worth going to see. And maybe it's something over time that could evolve a little more. It didn't quite have the nostalgic type things that really kind of hooked me in, where, as a fan, the t-shirts and the hats we wear and those kind of key moments we want posters of or pictures. And the thing I felt that came a little too late in the film was and Spielberg does so great, is the wonderment. There's that moment in so many of his films where early on you see this wonderment of that imagination or this thing coming to life, when they see the dinosaurs for the first time in Jurassic Park, or when Elliot gets scared to death of an alien in a cornfield, but then later kind of looks off and something that wonderment intrigues him to like bring him back with the Reese's Pieces and all that, where they had that moment, but it was at the end when things, went live and they disclosed all the information and there's all the flashes and even, like Colin Firth, like when he even's like, all right, I'm just going to sit and let this thing happen. There was
really
the wonderment in that,
Yeah.
Is that my Academy Awards music coming in?
No.
I'd like to thank the Academy for another great Spielberg film.
My short Gene Shalit review is.
By the way, he just passed away this week.
Oh well, in honor of Gene Shalit.
In honor of Gene Shalit.
My review is: this blunt gives me a high, even if the movie leaves me asking why.
That's exactly what he would have said. She was the best part about the movie. Yep. I agree. And one of my problems with the movie is that the entire 2.5 hours was a quote unquote mystery from beginning, and it wasn't answered to the last 1 minute of the movie. It doesn't lend itself well to reviewing. Like, okay, they're disclosing aliens have come. I do, Jake, though, I gotta say, I did appreciate, and all of us were people of faith. I liked the way they tried to walk into what would this mean for the faith community on the planet.
I like that too. That was a nice
and I thought that was good because
the nun character.
With the nun character, and some of what she said was beautiful, and I liked the way they kind of, hey, what would a disclosure day do to the faith, to people of faith on the planet? And they didn't go quite into it. Steven Spielberg, he was kind of like, okay, we'll set the table, let you guys talk about this later. But
if you enjoyed that, for further reading, there's a series of 3 books by the author C.S. Lewis that are science fiction novels that are about aliens and interplanetary travel. Kind of the same thing. I think you'd enjoy that.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. Well, guys, listen. Disclosure Day is number 22 on Esquire's list. I might put it a little bit higher than that. Some of the movies they had on that list, I did, and like Luke said, it didn't have as much awe, like sense of wonder and awe. Although, when they went back in time and she was revisiting her house as a little girl, that felt so purely Spielbergian to me.
Yeah, it did.
That I just felt the feels, and I loved it so much.
And that's why you got to see his movies on IMAX if you can too. There's a lot of detail. Like if you go back and see E.T. in IMAX, it's unbelievable what they do kind of in the set and stuff. And it really makes you feel like you're a kid again.
I would never say don't see this film. I did enjoy it. Some other people were disappointed, but you know why they were disappointed? It's because it was a Spielberg film and it didn't just blow their mind.
That's very true. Like as the movie itself would have been completely different. Yep.
All right, Jake. We will see you on future episodes. I know that we have to wrap up here, but Jake, thank you so much for joining us today. Tell people
Thanks
how
for
they
having
can...
me. You can find me on Instagram. I'm at JT Hummus. My handle's right down here. You can see it. So yeah, I'll be there.
Jeez,
Any more final thoughts for you too, Jake?
Yeah.
See it at the Vista Theater at the corner of Sunset and Virgil in Los Feliz.
In Los Angeles, guys.
Los Angeles, California, because they'll play a Bugs Bunny cartoon beforehand.
Hey,
the vintage trailers to Close Encounters and E.T. And if you have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the movie, they play the actual soundtrack audio through it, so you don't miss plot points if you need to go to the bathroom.
And Luke,
that's my final thought.
We'll let you wrap up, but I'm going to tell everybody you can find me at James D. Fry on Instagram. Cheeseman, thank you for bringing this new show to us. Guys, if you love E.T., if you love Close Encounters, if you love Poltergeist, if you love Hook, if you love any of the great Spielberg films, the Indiana Jones greatness, you're going to love this podcast, so we hope to see you guys more. We hope that you will follow us. So please, where's the follow? Follow. Anyways. Here we go. Look, watch this cool thing. Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. Cheeseman, take us out.
That button.
Yeah. One other great thing I saw on social media about this film is that one of the poster designers was a big Spielberg fan. And he won some sort of contest or got some sort of special recognition that Steven Spielberg himself met him in person. He got this moment that just made the designer of the poster's life and stuff. And Steven just seems like such a kind person when they met. So if you get a chance, check out that video. It's really cool. I think it's on all sorts of social media and probably on YouTube as well. And again, just thank you for checking this out. I know a lot of you are big fans. And what I like about Spielberg, Jaws, and all this stuff is we all should have those things in our life that make us feel like we're 8 years old again. And when these kind of films or this kind of fandom is talked about with Steven Spielberg, that brings that for me personally. Like, I've taken my dad to a concert with Paul McCartney and he gets that twinkle in his eye. So like, if your parents are different generations, it's nice to see that look of wonderment that we talked about, or that twinkle and stuff. And one last thing that really pulled me to, like, really got me to like Spielberg too, there was a salute to Steven Spielberg that happened, I think, in like the mid 90s, and we taped it off TV, but I would just rewatch it because they showed clips of the film.
Oh, is that when he got the AFI Lifetime Achievement Award?
So.
Yeah,
That was probably around like 95, 96. And then and they'd show all sorts of things. And I think that moment I was even fiddling with cameras and animation stuff with a figure and all that because of stuff I saw on that. So yeah, thank you, Steven, for just being a big first impact in my life of becoming a filmmaker. And again, like, just touching so many lives, and we look forward to discussing more.
All right. Summer Spielberg starts now. We'll see you guys down the road. Bye-bye.
We'll be right here.
All right. All right.